try to do it faster. Oh, hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Transformers figure review on the Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece MP-22 Cybertron City Commander Ultra Magnus figure. If you're trying to get this guy, you can get it.
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
Gotta give a disclaimer for this review because I have been waiting for this figure to come out for such a long time. G1 Ultra Magnus was one of my favorite toys growing up, and it got thrown out when I was a kid and everything. So I got a sentimental attachment to this, and I'm very, very excited for it. Now, the packaging itself is pretty standard. For Masterpiece, it's just a little bit on the larger side. Here it is compared to the MP-04 Optimus Prime. Then you can see it right here next to the Acid Storm that was a TRU exclusive. And as usual, we get both modes right there on the front. We get the embossed Masterpiece in silver. Same thing with this embossed foil silver right there on the side. It says Ultra Magnus on the back. You get all these product shots and a bunch of stuff written in Japanese that I do not understand. Then on the other side it says Transformers Masterpiece. There's a top with the cool picture of Ultra Magnus, and then there's the bottom showing the contents inside. Anyway, let's get to it and crack this thing open. Here's Ultra freaking Magnus out of the packaging. This thing is so badass, man. I'm not gonna lie. I have been so stoked over this thing that it has driven me to insanity.
This is so awesome.
Dave, you've been in there for days.
Leave us alone!
I knew I was going to love the figure before I got it. I told myself I was going to love the figure. I got the figure and I love the figure, but there are some shortcomings. I got to try to be as objective as possible with the review. As you can already see, this ankle pivot isn't totally working. This stance over here, the ankle pivot won't go down all the way. And there's a couple other things with the articulation that irritates me, but overall, I'm very, very pleased with this figure. It is just incredible, and especially for the price point too. It does come with quite a few accessories. Now, big thanks to Budget Stark. I did get the collector coin over here along with the whole figure, so thanks a lot, man. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. You can see this little piece is facing the opposite direction as this piece right over there, and then you can just pop this open and you can see the Ultra Magnus coin, which looks pretty sharp, man. I'm digging that. And you're not really supposed to take this out or anything. This is the second collector coin I've ever gotten, so yeah, pretty neat. It does come with this instruction manual over here that has some really cool new artwork to it. I really like how that looks, especially Ultra Magnus over here. He's got some wear on him. God, can you imagine if the movies look like this? Ooh. And he comes with this collector card right over here that does have the same artwork as an instruction booklet, and this is a very new thing. I'll show you in a second. And then there's some stats that I don't understand. So I'm going to go ahead and add this card to my collection right over here. And as you can see, these all have this gridded format going on, except for this guy right here. And does this really bum me out a lot? Not that much, because it's MP-22 and my birthday is September 22nd, so you know it's all meant to be. Ultra Magnus comes with the Spike and Daniel, the way they're dressed in the 86 movie, and I think the paint came out very clean on both of these little figures. It doesn't really bother me that their eyes aren't painted or anything. That's okay. They have a little bit of articulation. You can rotate their arms forward, and then you can move their legs forward, and they could bend their knees. And then comparing this Spike with the one that came with Bumblebee, you can see this is not really going into scale very well. Now there are seats available for both Spike and Daniel. You can see those pegs that stick out right over there. They fit right in between the legs of each of these figures over here, so you just want to get them into a sitting position and then just put them in there. And then there goes Spike, and there goes Daniel. And they both sit there very, very securely. Try to shake them upside down and they're not falling out. Now the two figures right here is going to look a lot cooler when Ultra Magnus is in his alt mode. For now, it's a little dangerous for these two. Ooh, I didn't know there's such a thing as having too much energy on. And here's Ultra Magnus' Super Blaster, looking great. I like the sculpt, the detail in here. You get some gray paint right here, and this purple looks pretty nice. It's got this grayish purple kind of look to it. Has a little bit of a transformation to it for his alt mode, which I'll show in a minute. It's a little unfortunate his blaster doesn't have actual weapon storage. You can make some up, like right there, I don't know. Either way, it's going to be kind of wonky. Now, the figure comes with two pairs of interchangeable hands, which I think is great. You get these articulated hands over here, which are a little on the disappointing side. You get this finger clamping action and then a single finger clamping action, but no finger bending right there in the middle. Still sculpted very well, but yeah, then you get this little slot right there for the gun. It seems all the other Masterpiece figures have, and you just plug that in there and it stays pretty securely, and you can just grip the fingers around there. I like to have this finger out for the trigger, which you can't really see. Then he has these Matrix of Leadership holding hands, which are great. I love that the figure came with these. These are made out of kind of a rubbery material, as you can hear the tap, 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 compared to the... So you can take the Matrix from MP-10 Prime and plug it into that hand right there, and plug it into this other hand. Now it looks like Ultra Magnus is holding it, which looks awesome. But if you want to use the one from the MP-04 or the MP-01 Optimus Prime, he grabs onto this one just as well, and that is really cool. Let me know in the comments if you think it looks better holding the MP-04 Matrix or the MP-10 Matrix. I don't know, the MP-04 one tends to split no matter what I do. Now plugging the hands in and out can take some force, especially if it's the first time. I recommend detaching this forearm section. It's part of the transformation. When taking the hands off and putting them on, you don't have to do that, but for me, I just feel a little better doing that. Now I really like the head sculpt for this figure. I do think it fits well in proportion to the rest of the body, and I could be tripping, but I think he has die-cast antennae over here. I'm not 100% sure about that, but they feel cold, and I think these are made out of metal, which is awesome, so they're making sure that we don't break them. I think that's great. I think the paint came out very clean. I like the silver face right over here, and he does have an interchangeable face. Going around looking at the side of this, and on the back, it's sculpted very well. I'm really digging this. Probably going to most likely have him with this face sculpt on here, so how I like to switch these out is I'll grab the bottom right there, and then grab this little horn tip, and then they'll just slide right off, and boom, you get another face in there. The homage to the G1 Ultra Magnus. This Optimus Prime-like face, which is really, really neat. They did not have to do that. Popping the face out is very easy. Just press against the nose right there a little bit, and you can see it's got that little hole. And you can see the other face hidden right underneath there. You just pull this flap back and then just grab this guy, pick that off. The original face right on. Or put both faces there if you want to. But for right now, we'll just leave the one face in there. Another really cool thing is we do get fist storage in here. Yeah, I think that is awesome. Unfortunately, you cannot fit the articulated hands in there, but it is cool. You can fit the Matrix holding hands right through there. It's pretty awesome. And you got that peg right over there. And put this right over that Optimus face and boom, there we go. Too much energy on. Oh. I really like this head sculpt too. This is really sick, man. I love that they have a different color silver right there for the inside of his mouth. So add some variety there. The eyes came out looking pretty clean on this face sculpt too. I'm really digging that we have the interchangeable faces for this guy. Now the figure doesn't have a whole lot of deco or variety in colors. You get the blue, red, and white, and then a little bit of the silver. But for the most part, I think the sculpting compensates for the lack of variety. I really like the sculpted Autobot logo over here. I always think that looks really cool on the Masterpiece figures. Get all this nice detail right over here. There's little fake vents right there. I think the figure looks great, man. And you can add the Matrix of Leadership from the MP-10 Prime inside this guy. You just gotta lift this little piece up right here. This made a really loud crack sound the first time I opened it, but it's totally okay. And then there's that spot which looks great. Again, a lot of nice sculpted detail in this. Very nice looking gunmetal gray color going on the inside of this. And then we just gonna grab this little guy and then just plug it right in there. And that is so cool to me that you can only use the one from MP-10 Prime. He doesn't come with his own Matrix of Leadership. I just love that. I think that is just really, really cool, man. You get this red translucent windows over here. You can still see the Matrix shimmering behind there. That is sick. Then his last little function for his robot mode is just these little guys pop out over here. The original toy, they would fire out, but these don't fire out or anything, nor do I want them to. They're sculpted pretty well. You know, they have some details in them, but, you know, this isn't something I'm going to be doing often. Probably that's the last time. Now, as we look at the rest of the figure, you can see this little piece right here. To me, originally, that looked like it was upside down, but then, you know, you look back at the G1 cartoon, and that's the way it's supposed to look for the G1 cartoon. I like it when they make it a combination of the G1 figures and the G1 cartoon into these Masterpiece figures, but either way, I think it's pretty awesome. Back in the day with my original Ultra Magnus, I always had to put these flaps inward. I don't know why I have to still do that, but, you know, there it goes. I just like how that looks a little bit more. This is really nice over here. A lot of sculpted detail in this, even these little bolts right there. And this guy has some die-cast feet. He is very, very sturdy and very easy to stand. I really like that. And again, a lot of sculpted detail right here in these blue sections. Here's looking at the bottom of his feet. You can see he's got these fake wheels right there. Here's looking at the rest of the back of the figure. Again, he has this butt flap thing, which, yeah, it's a bit irritating, man. I'm sure they could have figured out a way to have this fold up, but it's not really the worst thing in the world, I guess. You know, I still love the figure. I like what they did with this back piece over here and adding all these little silver bits and stuff, and it's cool how it works out having the vac metal tanks right over here on the side. Arms are pretty light, but they look really full and they look large. Now, articulation wise, Magnus is a little bit lacking over here. His head can still look up though, which is good. Looking over there, he can look up some. He can look down just a little bit, which is also pretty good. He could also rotate his head side to side. He has these very, very strange shoulder joints, so he kind of has like an armpit joint over here. Get this one piece of plastic right there, and it has a hinge on both sides of it, so you can, you know, make it stick a little bit outward like that, which I prefer to do. You get a little bit more articulation that way. The shoulders can move outward that much, just a little bit, and they can move inward, downward like that, which is okay. You do get an elbow joint that does not quite meet 90 degrees, and you also get a swivel at the elbow. He does have those ball jointed hands that can move in and out and around. He does not have a waist joint. That is a bummer, man. For a Masterpiece figure to not have a waist joint, it's a little bit disappointing, but not the worst thing in the world. He does have these little panels right here that can move outward, which is pretty cool because it allows you to move the legs outward that much. You can kick forward a little bit. This thing right here tends to flap open as you bend that forward, so it allows for a little bit more movement. You do get a thigh swivel, and whoop, there goes Spike, or that was Daniel actually. And then you do get this bend at the knee, and then he does have a bit of ankle pivot. Not a ton of ankle pivot, just that much. Ultra Magnus is a large figure, as he should be, and to the top of his shoulder pieces, he's at about 12 inches tall. Here's Ultra Magnus compared to the first mold of Optimus Prime. This is my MP-04 Optimus over here. Can you imagine how huge that Ultra Magnus would be to fit into scale with this Optimus? Here's Ultra Magnus compared to the MP Proud, Bumblebee, MP-10 Optimus Prime from TRU, and the Red Alert figure. And these all work into scale very well together. This is just looking really, really awesome. And here's Masterpiece Ultra Magnus compared to his Transformers Prime version and his G1 version. I actually wanted the one that had the silver face on it. I like that more. And here's, so you can see what I'm talking about, the white Optimus Prime head right underneath there. And of course, here he is next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Now, one thing I really like about this figure, that especially for his size, it's not a complicated transformation. So let's get to it. What do you think is away, Bumblebee? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to push the head back. It's got this track over here. It's going to just slide back like that. You're going to rotate his head all the way around over there. You get these panels right here at the top, and you're going to flip those all the way around. They're double hinged there, and do the same thing to the other side over here. And then you're going to take his arm pieces, separate those, and then reconnect them down here. Do the same thing on this side. And then you're going to take these flaps, going to open that downward, rotate it, and then move it down. And you can straighten out these arms, and then just move this panel right there, and move the panel right there. Then we're going to get to this cab section right here, and we're going to pop these sideways like that. And then what you want to do is take these two side pieces, and they just slide out right there. And then these are going to swing back. You're going to take this piece, that's going to fold back, and then we're going to lift this up and start to, oh, there goes the fists, and then we're going to lift all the way up there. So that's going to hang up like that, and then this is going to move down, and it's going to come together right there. And then these wheels you want to take and move outward. So let's get the rest of the cab assembled over here. These pieces that we slid outwards, we're going to push those right back in, and that's going to push right back in. And this whole piece right here is double hinged there and there, so it's going to come apart and then swing all the way around. And Spike and Daniel are still sitting comfortably inside the cab, which is looking pretty nice so far. We're going to take this crotch piece section, and we're going to move that all the way up over there. We're going to look at the legs. You can take the feet. He has these fake wheels right here, which are pretty cool that he has those, but we're going to rotate those around and expose the actual rubber tire wheels, which I think is awesome. And then we have this back panel piece. We're going to detach that. It's going to swing outward. Lift that up, swing that outward. And we're going to get back to that in a second, but we're going to move these facing up over here. And then we got to try to connect everything right there in the center. Like I said, you want all the knees straight and everything, or both of his knees straight. We're going to take the arms, and I like to kind of pinch these apart over here, these two blue sections, and then use my ring finger to kind of separate that outward so that could swing out. It's kind of tricky, but you're kind of splitting these apart and then pushing this outward at the same time. And this is going to swing all the way up. And then you're going to rotate that downward, swing this one all the way up, and rotate this downward over here. You want to swing that double hinge shoulder outward, and that's going to move up like that, and this is going to move up over here and connect. And these pieces at the top are going to fold up over here, and then I like to swing the missile section outward over there. And then take our gun, transform it. It's going to plug into these little ports right here. When you take this off, and you can see this little hole and this little rectangle shape goes right in there. Now, when you take these off, it makes a very loud, terrifying sound. Like that. Ooh, that freaked me out the first time. I thought I broke something, but no, that's just the sound it makes every time, and I've transformed this guy a couple of times already. So reconnect that side, connect in the middle, right over there, and connecting right down here. Then again, we want to make sure these legs are all straightened out before we get to the final couple stages. But you want to rotate this panel outward and rotate that panel outward. And then we're going to get this piece unfolded right here so it swings outward, and then push that in. And if it's aligned properly, it'll just tab into place like so. And then do the same thing to this side right over here. And then we're going to try to straighten this out. And this guy has little panels that swing down over here. It kind of just did it all by itself. But there's this little button you want to push down on. You can see it kind of sticking out, and then just pull this going like that, and you get those little square pieces, and they kind of fill out that whole area. You can see there's a slot right over here. There's tabs sticking out in the back that are going to plug into that. Then this piece connects on the other side. We're almost done here. Just a couple little things. Smokestacks rotate outward and go up. Get the rear view mirrors right here on the sides. And depending on which direction you want these missiles facing, the area is completely transformed. And this is badass. This is just so cool, man. This is sick as hell. I'm just so stoked. An incredible figure. This is just a badass Transformer figure. What else can I say? I'm very pleased with this. Now, one thing that did catch me off guard is the red bumper, and it is like that in the cartoon. I would prefer a chrome bumper. I already know there's a third-party company out there with its wheels spinning, thinking about how they're going to make it possible for us to get a chrome bumper over here. But that's how he looked in the cartoon, so I can't really complain too much about that. Really looks like MP-10 Optimus Prime. I love how the vac metal looks over here. Get some really nice silver paint. I like how the headlights look. Nice silver painted on right there. Even the windshield wipers are painted pretty well. Here's the rearview mirrors. Damn, I really just love how this looks like MP-10 Prime. That is so sick. Smokestacks look pretty good with their vac metal. Again, a lot of nice sculpted detail throughout on this figure. Both of those Autobot logos are sculpted. We get the rubber tires. Damn, the chrome rims and everything. Just the sculpted detail on this. I'm really just digging this a lot. That handle piece from the blaster hanging down is a little irritating, but not a big deal. And you could change these missiles around so that they're just facing forward. I think that might look a little better. I don't know. Either way, it still looks really cool to me. I was looking at the back of the figure, very much reminding me of the G1 toy. I mean, you could actually just lift this whole thing up like this. I think that is really cool. This will sink down some, but damn, that is badass. And then I think it is a little strange that this whole piece is just being held by these two little notches over here. So, I mean, it works as long as you don't pick up the figure by the center over here, which, you know, it's obviously not meant to do that. You could pull these pieces down. You just want to detach these tabs right here, and then this just moves down. Now, you can see there's a bit of a gap between here and then these little panels, so getting, you know, I don't know, side swipe to drive right in. So what I like to do is I like to tilt this up a little bit more and then bend it more at the elbows, and I don't know, that just makes a little bit more of a fluid. I don't know if I was going to do stop-go animation or something like that. Get him to roll up right there. I don't know, let's get a smaller guy. Here, we have Bumblebee all transformed and he's all crawling right up. And we can move this up over here. And then get Wheeljack rolling right through here. And get Blue Streak rolling right up there. Oh, we can close this up. This is so badass. Damn, that is so cool. Dude, he's a car character. I don't know. I just thought this was just such a cool toy back in the day. And to have this all over again, this is just amazing. I absolutely love this. This is just too cool. You cannot ask for more with this. I'm really digging it. And he rolls very well with everybody on there. Bumblebee's kind of wobbling around. Let's see if we switch Bumblebee right over here. Yeah, because he's a little bit smaller than your average Autobot, so he's rolling around a bit. There's these little grooves right over here which you can see clearly, but you know, the side swipe is kind of falling around, and I think if these other Masterpiece figures had rubber tires as well, they wouldn't be rolling around so much. These guys are stationary just because they're so smushed right up against the cab right there. But overall, I mean, this is just looking really badass. I really like this a lot. Before we get to the last function of the figure, I just want to show you, just pop this up right here, and he will hold the fists while he's in his alt mode. So you can see all that space right there, that extra face. You can see Daniel and Spike, and you can just drop the fist right in there, and they just stay securely, and just close that right back up. And the last tidbit that I think is really, really neat with this figure, there's his face, but you can just pull this button right in here, and then this cab detaches, and that is so sick. And this will stand on its own just like that. You don't need any stands or anything. But look at that. That looks just like MP-10 Optimus Prime. I'm so stoked that you could do this. I think that is so neat, especially because this is part of his transformation too. You know, this is just too cool. And when you see the figures side by side like this, damn, this is just really impressive. Oop, gotta put those down, but that, oh man, that is just so cool to me how these look. They're sculpted so similarly. You can see all these little pipes and everything, even all the dents right up here. We get those little bolts right there. Just having these sitting face to face like this, that is just really remarkable how they're able to replicate this look for Ultra Magnus. Now, of course, the figures don't weigh the same. This guy's a lot heavier than this empty piece of plastic over here. Here's Ultra Magnus and Optimus side by side right here with both of their trailers attached. Let's see, I think the Ultra Magnus is a little bit longer. Actually, no, these are the same length. That is pretty cool. And here's Masterpiece Ultra Magnus compared to his G1 version. Very, very different figures. Of course, the color scheme is totally different. I'm so pleased with this. I'm very, very happy with this figure. I am aware of his limitations. Even though I really like this figure, I truly like it a lot, I just don't think it's the home run Masterpiece figure that we got in the MP-10. Be it the MP-10 is the second shot for Takara making a Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I mean, for about $200, I think you're getting a heck of a deal, especially because it was about $200 $10 for the new Starscream, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I highly recommend it. Hope you guys liked my video. If you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button right over there. Check out my last 2 videos right over here. And make sure you check out the photo gallery over at tformers.com. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
That's crispy.
Wait, I need some water for tears, right? I don't know.